What do you mean? The public, you shouldn't kick a sleeping dog is one of the things we were told. And I'm like, well, what? Like, what is so freaking scary that the public would know something that even though we're friends now and you have direct knowledge that you, first of all, won't testify to Congress. We got no's. No way am I doing that. And I'm like, why? There's something. We keep getting up to that point where there's something and we don't know what it is. And maybe it's just they want to keep Gollum's ring. They don't want anybody else to have control of this shit. Or there's something they're not telling us that is so gnarly that they don't think people can handle it.
There are, different scenarios you could explore. For example, you ask, what could be so terrible that they can't tell us about it? Let's say these aliens, wherever they're from, made us, that we're a genetic experiment, that they created our religions, our religious figures, that we are an agricultural product, that somehow they harvest us, that our time is limited, that once the experiment's over, poof, we go away. I remember when there was a push back to have a designer universe, intelligent design universe in the schools, and I wrote a column about it. Just said, hey, be careful what you wish for, because you might find out that the intelligent designer isn't God that you're thinking of. It might be some alien science project or something like that. You can imagine a lot of different things that would be really disturbing to people to come out. I don't know if that's the reason for the secrecy. I suspect it has a lot more to do with national security, us not wanting Russians and Chinese to know how far down the road we are.
We know that to be true.
We've been told that you can't tell your friends without telling your enemies.
It's probably a multi-layered reason.
Yeah. I just don't know the top layer. It's killing me.
Well, it's interesting because how would they know the top layer? I mean, what kind of confirmation would you have to have that we were genetically engineered? Like how much data would you have to have before you accepted that?
So you got compartmentalization, you said, right? So I know a guy in the 70s that was working at Lawrence Livermore Laboratory. He's not ready to break from the fold yet, right? He's not ready to do it. But he was working on supercapacitors in the 70s or something. And he said something like, I know the 3 companies that make these. He was given a device with no markings on it, no nothing, and he was to reverse engineer it. He is convinced this was not made by us. It was so efficient, almost 100% efficient. So you get people like that.
What was it?
Like a supercapacitor, is that the word for it? Superconductor. So it was just some device that he was, as an electro kind of specialist, was working on. But this is just a one-off story to give you an example.
What exactly is a superconductor?
I don't know, dude. That's what Google's for.
Yeah.
I wish I was smart.
Superconductivity would allow the transfer of energy at they're trying to get it at low temperatures.
Right.
This means an electric current can flow, but the electrons are jostled around a bit as they move, so they lose energy as they travel. This jostling is called electrical resistance. In a superconductor, there is zero resistance, and an electrical current can flow perfectly smoothly without losing any energy.
That sounds right.
And so this is something that apparently... So this was something that was just discussed recently about a superconductor at room temperature, but it's kind of debunked.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I believe it was debunked. I saw that in the news. Yeah. Was it debunked?
It's been debunked a couple of times. They keep taking another stab at it.
It's like Chinese propaganda or something?
No, I think they couldn't replicate it or find out what it is.
That's as far. I think that's exactly it.
Yeah, they couldn't
replicate it.
Right.
So check it out, though. What I can say is, so I have 2 pieces of graphene, and they're like these little squares. And one is they're metamaterials, meaning it doesn't occur in nature. We made them. I have 2 kinds, 2 pieces. One piece is a 3-degree variation from perfect atomic layering. The other one is like a 7-degree variation from perfect atomic layering. So like graphite from a pencil, I think, and they layer the atoms perfect. The one that's 7 degree and the one that's 3 degree, if you have an ice cube, and I take the 7 degree of orientation off from perfect and I push it into an ice cube, it's like a hot knife through butter. It instantly gets cold and your finger gets cold and it stops in the ice, right? Because it's transferring the heat. I guess this is a superconductor. I think it pushes the heat from my fingers right in. So that material has unique principles and properties because of the way they atomically layered it. Mm-hmm. The 3-degree one, it goes much deeper and faster because it's like a faster transaction of that heat. So we've learned that metamaterials, when we orient them, we make them in a certain way. They have special or unique properties. So a lot of So back to this guy. A lot of what it seems like we're doing is trying to get derivative technologies from something that's more advanced than what we have. And they could be little things. So all he saw was a superconductor, okay? I believe that's the right word. That's all he saw.